What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and an absolute bombshell coming out from Ruby Rose about the Batwoman execs, which actually proves a lot of people right about why she quit the show. You know, I've been critical of Batwoman because the show sucks. Because they thought, let's make Batwoman gay, and suddenly that will make the show good. I don't, and even canonically, that's all fine. But you still have to have a good show. Now, I understand now, and I've definitely got to learn more over the years, that these CW DC shows are not for me. They're for, like, kids, okay? But I also don't think that they're doing any good for the DC brand with how laughably bad they are. Now Ruby Rose has put the Batwoman executives on blast, saying she wouldn't even return if a pew pew was put to her head. This is bat crazy. Ruby Rose is going to bat against the CW, claiming the executives virtually forced her Batwoman exit by requiring her return to work days after undergoing major surgery, as well as allegedly refusing responsibility for several severe onset injuries and creating a toxic work environment. I think she should sue them. That's what I think. I think she should take him to the cleaners. Anytime you can, take a Hollywood company down a peg, I'm for it. Dear fans, stop asking if I will return to that awful show, she said in her scathing Instagram story rebuke of the network and its bigwigs Tuesday night. I wouldn't return for any amount of money, nor if something was held to my head. The Australian actress kicked off her cyber spanking with the former CW president Peter Roth claiming the 71-year-old was making young women steam your crotch of your pants while you were still wearing them. Creepy. Roth announced his departure from the network after 22 years of service back in October. No reason was given, but Warner Media noted he was well respected among his colleagues and competitors, actors, writers, directors, and producers. So he's a Hollywood creep. Shocking. She also blasted Roth for allegedly insisting she resumed filming after 10 days after her surgery for an injury she suffered on set. Imagine going back to work 10 days after this, Rose lamented in the closed caption footage of her operation. If I didn't, the whole crew and cast will be fired, and I'd let everyone down because Peter Roth said he wouldn't recast, and I just lost the studio millions by getting injured on his set, she claimed, and I'd be the one who cost so many other people their jobs. Rose went on to scold Roth for having a private investigator to probe into her life after she abruptly stepped away from Batwoman in May of 2020, shortly after the show had been renewed for a new season. She then shared what she claims is footage of a doctor's appointment during which medical professional appears to explain the abnormal damages done to her ribs as a result of an injury she suffered while filming the show. I have enough documentation to make a 1-hour documentary, Rose said wrote in the video. She noted that when injury initially occurred, CW execs warned her that if she left set to get an x-ray, she'd be disrupting the filming schedule. What else would you like me to share? In her post text continued, the broken neck or the broken rib split in two and the tumor. I don't think you get a tumor from working on the show, but I don't know. Rose claims she suffered a cut in the face so close to her eye that she could have been blinded. She went on to bash producers Greg Berlanti and Sarah Schechter, woman too, for their lack of consideration for the many severe injuries crew members allegedly endured on the Batwoman soundstage, claiming a man suffered third-degree burns all over his body and a female production assistant was left quadriplegic? What? What? Dries had no heart and wanted us to finish the season throughout the lockdowns, and I told her it was a bad idea, Rose claimed. I told her everyone was too distracted. Matt constantly checking on Coof updates, checking on friends, and seeing Riverdale, The Flash, Supergirl shut down already. Rose also shames Dries for allegedly denying that she sustained her injuries on set, claiming it happened during yoga. I don't do yoga, the actress barked, adding that the exec and her cohorts reportedly wouldn't provide her with transportation to and from the studio after her surgery. They knew I couldn't legally drive after surgery, so they said get a taxi. But after blasting the CW and Batwoman higher-ups, she closed her social media, scolding, saying, aside from them, I loved my crew. Wow. Wow. Like, this looks really bad for them. This kind of goes back to, proving everything we thought. That, like, when you work around these kind of garbage people, no wonder you get a garbage product. Now, you don't get any brownie points now for coming out and saying it. Once you've left, all the people left behind, if what Ruby Rose has said is true, then there is a massive cover-up. Massive. I mean, a paralyzed? Rose was claimed that a PA, production assistant, left paralyzed after an incident on set. While the incident was allegedly blamed on the woman being on her phone, maybe that's true, Rose noted she's a PA. They work via phones. Okay, so we don't know. Rose added that the incident occurred because our show refused to shut down when everyone else did because of the coof. And the showrunner Dries wanted us to finish the season throughout it. I told her idea was bad. Rose said the show was finally shut down and it wasn't because of the PA's injury, but because of a government mandate. Elsewhere in her post, Rose addressed Roth, the Warner TV executive, saying he made the women steam his pants while he was still wearing them, that is really odd. Hired a private investigator to track her, but fired them as soon as their report didn't fit your narrative. So the private detective then must have went back to Ruby Rose and said, hey, check this out. She also leveled claim against the Batwoman co-star, Doug Ray Scott. Doug Ray hurt a female stunt double. He yelled like a little bee at the woman, and it was a nightmare. He left when he wanted and arrived when he wanted. He was mean to women in turn. As a lead of the show, I sent an email asking for a no yelling policy. They declined. Representatives for CW, I don't know who Doug Ray Scott plays in this show. I don't care to know Hollywood actors' names. Let's see. That's interesting. Who did he play in Batwoman? Nobody? Oh, wait, this is in the other way. Okay. So he was in Snatch, Fear of the Walking Dead. He played Jacob Kane. Okay. In seasons 1 through 2. So he was imagine having a no yelling policy, I guess. But the Ruby Rose things, unfortunately for her, the Brian Laundrie news happened today, but like it was trending for some time. And the claims that she's made, I think, go a little bit further than, your standard, Hollywood weakling. I think that what she's saying here, and I've always kind of stood behind her. I didn't blame her for quitting. Why would you want to be on that show? Here's the actual post. I mean, it is, and she hasn't deleted it. Now, I don't know if this means, does she never want to work in Hollywood again? This is, the only people that came out and spoke out was Doug Ray, who, talk about Unprofessional, called my agent after my exit to find a way to leave, in which she replied, break your neck, I guess, yet slammed me in the press. I never raised my voice on set, never have. Doug Ray hurt a female stunt double and he yelled at her like if he was a nightmare. He left, he came when he wanted. I was late one time because I was in the hospital. Whoever does these stupid leaks, I'm finding out, but it's cameras who came after I left the hospital and said, yeah, well, maybe if people were not late, we could make our days a kid, an egomaniac kid who worked 1 day a week, had the audacity, or a stunt department who were furious, even though I never blamed them. But I went on a fallen and spoke of my injury and didn't play the game. Aside from them, I was loved and loved my crew. Oh, and they wouldn't drive me back to work after my surgery. So they said, get a taxi. Yikes. Yikes. Here's more. Enough is enough. I'm going to tell the whole world what really happened. Dear Warner Brothers, I will come for you so what happened. Oh, wait. I will come for you so what happened to me never happens to another person again. And I can finally take my life back and tell the truth. Shame on you. Peter Roth, you are first up. You are a chapter. Not sure if you will be left after getting promoted to the highest position because you just couldn't stop making young women steam your pants. Yikes. Cut to 3 weeks later. I don't know what I'm looking at here. You know, she's showing her neck injury. Wow. Wow. Absolutely nuts. I guess good for you, Ruby, for getting off that train wreck of a woke disaster. I hope you all enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.